O is for Mike Oldfield. Great memories of Tubular Bells. It must have been in 1975. I was very heavily pregnant with William, and we went up to York where they were performing in the Minster. The most amazing night, performing in the dark. It was very atmospheric. I'll never forget it.
Had my demo tapes. I brought them to the Manor in Oxfordshire. But they said, look, we can't do anything with them. Our studio's not finished. We're still building our studio. And so I kind of roamed around aimlessly for the next year, waiting for the phone call to come from somewhere. I really didn't know what to do. I'd heard that you could be a state-employed musician in the USSR. And I remember the day very clearly. I was thinking, what am I going to do? I want to be a musician. I've just been fired from here. It's instrumental music. So I was leafing through the phone book looking for the Soviet embassy. And then the phone went bring, bring. So I closed the phone book and picked it up. And there was Simon Draper, who was Richard Branson's musical partner at the time, said, could you come over for dinner?
I got a telephone call from one of our engineers at the Manor, and he said that this young lad had been into the recording studio and had played a very, very rough demo tape of this magical music, and he would like me to hear it. It was absolutely delightful, and I just thought I'd never heard anything quite so special.
They offered me a week of studio time at the Manor. I went, and in that week I made virtually all of the first part of Tubular Bells. They took it to Midem, which is the big music festival in Cannes, and played it to various bosses of various big corporations who kind of laughed it off because it didn't have a front man, it didn't have vocals, it didn't even have drums, except in for one little bit. And they thought Richard was crazy.
None of them would release the music. I had a couple of little record shops and tiny little mail order company at the time and a little recording studio. And so I thought, well, if nobody else will put it out, we'll start something called Virgin Records. And we'll make Mike Oldfield's album the first album on our record label. And I then invited John Peel to dinner.
John Peel was kind of like the guru of the odd, off-the-wall, the underground movement that used to exist at that time, strange music.
And we played him the album, and he said he thought it was one of the most important albums he'd ever heard. And to our delight and surprise, he played the whole album.
He didn't just play a bit, you see. His whole program was the whole album. It's just like, you can't ask for a better endorsement.
Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, at least the first part of it, on which he plays grand piano, glockenspiel, a couple of different kinds of organ, bass guitar, electric guitar, speed guitar, taped motor drive amplifier organ chord, mandolin-like guitar, fuzz guitars, assorted percussion, acoustic guitars, and a variety of other things. You'll also hear, in the course of this, the voice of Viv Stanshall as Master of Ceremonies.
Grand piano.
I've been introducing Top Gear for nearly 6 years now, but I think that is certainly one of the most impressive LPs that I've ever had the chance to play on the radio. Really a remarkable record from Mike Oldfield, and one of the first releases on the new Virgin label, and an incredible start for them.
Reed and pipe organ.
If he hadn't done that, I don't think I'd be sitting here today. I don't think Virgin Atlantic would have been born. I don't think Virgin Galactic will be born. I don't think people will be running on better trains in Britain. And the whole Virgin Empire, I don't think, would most likely would have been a stillbirth. So, from Mike Oldfield, we ended up, signing the Sex Pistols and the Rolling Stones and Genesis and Phil Collins, and they came, I think, very largely due to the fact that Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells have been such a great success for us.
Plus, Tubular Bells.
I did a session for John Peel for Radio 1 about 20 years later, and they invited me to do the session, and they said, well, if I do the end of Tubular Bells, do you think John Peel would do the introduction, the vividential bit? And to my delight, he agreed.
Japanese multi-timbral sound module. One slightly distorted guitar.